BC government has delayed controversial changes to the province's heritage laws after intense pushback from local governments, the real estate sector, and the development community. For more on that, let's bring in Rob Shaw at the BC Legislature. Rob, this all concerns the Heritage Conservation Act, so what exactly is going on here?
Well, Stacey, it's an abrupt back down on changes the government just a few months ago said were absolutely necessary to boost protection of First Nations cultural sites and provide certainty on the land base. But there is also an uprising of public unhappiness in the government's reconciliation agenda, the Cowichan Nation title ruling, the DRIPA ruling, other issues. And as the NDP starts to pull back and readjust reconciliation in the wake of that public unhappiness, things like the Heritage Conservation Act get pushed to the side. Now, the act has not been updated since the 1990s. The government said modernizing it could provide more certainty on what to do if you find bones or cultural artifacts on your property. But critics question the delays and costs that could come from adding things like intangible heritage sites where song and stories and spiritual connections could qualify as heritage land. Local governments blasted the Premier at the UBCM conference in Victoria last fall, getting a delay for more engagement. Forest Minister Ravi Parmar telling me on the phone he has since heard loud and clear the public is concerned, they need more time, and he is pushing off the changes to the fall, if not longer. Critics say that's the right move. Here they are.
Of course, we will all agree that our heritage, our shared heritage as British Columbians is extremely important, but we have to weigh the cost. Does that come at the cost of building homes? Does it come at the cost necessarily of resource development? I think there's a happy medium to do both, but the way that this government had gone about these original amendments certainly didn't meet that balance.
I think we kind of got off to a rocky start. I think we can both sides can recognize that it wasn't done in the greatest way, but I think we've really recovered well, and we're in conversation about what engagement with local governments looks like.
Parmar on his way to the Natural Resources Forum in Prince George, where the Premier is scheduled to speak tonight. A lot of concern from the natural resource sector, mining community, and others about the Heritage Conservation Act, Stacey. So no surprise that the government has pulled that before attending the conference tonight, where it intends to reiterate its support for growing the economy, growing the natural resource sector. This tied up into that and the reconciliation file in a larger sense.